Welcome to Song Surgery. My name is Pat Tarpey. I am a writer, producer, mixer here in Nashville, Tennessee. And this series, Song Surgery, is where I am going to take songs that I was a part of as either a writer, producer, or mixer, sometimes all three, sometimes just one or two of those, and break them down in like an overview, sort of tell the origin story of the writing session, what happened in production, what happened in the mix, etc., etc. Not how-to content. We're not doing like super deep dives on signal processing and stuff like that. I'm trying to have a bird's eye view here. The spirit of the series for me is also kind of to showcase what happens in, I guess, what I would call middle-class music or working-class music. None of us are working with tremendous budgets here. None of us are particularly famous yet, maybe. Who knows? That's the goal for everybody. Not fame, but, to have people hear our work and like it, and hopefully it brings people joy. So that's basically the spirit of it here. We are in the year 2025. We are so simultaneously blessed and cursed. There's an abundance of content, and we have access to behind the scenes of incredible record makers now, and the songs that they're working on. So, this is just a little bit of a, hey, check out what we're doing. We're cool too. And we're not on the radio or playlisted yet, but there's a lot of great, and not just myself and my collaborators. There's tons of great underground music being made by independent artists and independent producers everywhere. So that said, that little monologue out of the way, this song is called Crush. It's by the artist Faith Schuler. I work with Faith a ton. We've been making music all the time, and she's going to be on this series a lot because we do a ton of songs. This was a really cool one. Let's talk about the writing session. Actually, you know what? Screw that. Let's listen to it first. We'll listen from intro to chorus, and then we'll talk about the origin of the song.
I see you watching me from across the room. Your smile's looking like someone I wish I knew. I shy away, wait for you to make your move. You say, come on baby, dance, only got everything to lose. You look kinda dangerous and I should probably run. Could this be more than a crush? I'm feeling when I look in your eyes. With every touch I'm more than alive. Could this be where we say too much? Should we just kiss, shut up? All those voices inside tonight. I'll keep running just to see if you can catch me. I'll keep flirting just to hear you whisper, baby. I wasn't looking for love. Could this be more than a crush?
Cool. So, as you can hear, lyric-wise, this, whole thing, it's pretty simple. It's about having a crush and all those feelings that sort of kind of spiral and take off, and then you're like, oh my God, could this be more than a crush? Which, I think at the time, don't want to give away all the tea, but I believe that Faith was crushing on a person that she's now dating, so it was really fun. And we wrote this with Eric Paslay, who is a bit of a Nashville legend, absolute stand-up dude, incredible writer, great artist, great guitar player too. He was super fun to work with, also incredibly tall. I'm 6'2", and I think that I'm tall, and I saw Eric, and I was like, holy hell, dude. You are a giant, sir. And just a sweetheart of a dude, and the cool thing about working with great writers is they often come in at least with a few ideas. And Eric had his acoustic, and he just started. He was like, "Yeah, I think I remember him saying that he was just like strumming on his acoustic, and he was like, yeah, I just had this little like thing in my head." And so he was doing it on the acoustic, and I was like, dude, what if you did that on an electric? So I handed him the Fender and put it through a weird little tone, and immediately creates a vibe. And what's cool about it is it starts out dreamy, and then it starts to take off. And as the producer, my goal is to serve the lyric, serve the top line. And so we set the tone kind of initially to follow what the lyric is conveying, which is more like, ooh, you know, it's that initial sort of hit of emotion, and then it starts to take off. So some cool things happen in the beginning. We did that little vocal chop. I don't know if you'd call it a chop, but kind of that affected vocal. It's almost like that Jack Antonoff, Taylor Swift kind of sound thing.
Could this be more than a crush?
Little tremolator on it, slow-fied. Keeps it exciting without dialing up the energy too hard. And then in the verse,
I see you watching me from across the room. Your smile's looking like someone I wish I knew. I shot.
Throw a banjo in it because we got to stay a little bit country. Faith's a country artist first and foremost. Although, as you heard, this really ended up as more of a like pop country, almost indie rock crossover. So we keep that dreamy feel, but we start to elevate the energy bit by bit. In the pre, we hit him with,
You look kinda dangerous and I should.
drop a little beat. The guitar in the verse is serving as the primary like rhythmic element, just that bop 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 bop, digging on that eighth note. We're kind of like a mid-tempo thing, and I didn't want to hit him with like drums too soon, but in the pre, when she starts to get a little dreamier with her vocal, she's holding things out a little bit more. That's when we hit him with the groove to get the heads moving like this, and then we hit him with a fat drum fill.
Could this be more than a crush?
Cool tom roll, instantly makes the listener go, oh, something's about to happen, and then we kind of open the whole thing up.
I'm feeling when I look in your eyes with every touch. I'm more than alive. Could this.
Again, we want things to drive, but this is not an aggressive song. It's kind of sweet, kind of reflective, so the tones can't be aggro. Starting with the drums and the chorus, let's listen there. The kick is roomy, it's long, it has punch, but it doesn't have a lot of attack in terms of like its high end, so it's not really smashing your ears. You just more feel it. And same with the snare. It's a lot of body, kind of woody, not too snappy, because we're not trying to punish the listener. We're just trying to drive the groove, which is, again, supporting what's happening with the lyric. That's the realization like, oh, wow, this could be more than, so we have to dial the energy up. But we don't want to punch anybody in the face. We just want them to kind of like move a little bit as it starts to take off. Let's add the bass. Picked, that way we have a little bit of drive. Again, we're just hitting that eighth note, eighth note, eighth note, eighth note. Guitars do the same thing. Breakup tones, not too distorted, not too clean, somewhere in the middle, Goldilocks porridge type shit. Not a ton going on. It's a pretty sparse arrangement. I mean, for what I tend to do, I tend to be an overproducer, bit of a size queen, if you know what I'm saying. And just a little ambient thing. Just for some space, and then we have some other like utility stuff and pads going on. Couple of layered plucks there, kind of fuzzy. Not a ton of high end in a lot of these things. We're reserving that for the exciting things, the vocal, and then we have these utility things on the side. We got a mando, we got a banjo, because it's country again, everyone. Let me remind you, this is a country song. So we let those kind of be the shimmery elements, and then underneath that we just support this nice warm bed of not high energy, but like mid-high energy stuff. So just laying a nice bed for the vocal, having a couple candy things going on, and then that's our chorus. Pretty simple. And then come out of it, and then we hit the turn.
I wasn't looking for love, could this be more than a crush?
immediately settle down the energy again. We just went up. The feeling was taking off. Now we reflect. Could this be more than a crush? Also, cool excuse to use that neat little vocal effect again, which happens quite a few times. Verse 2, kind of more story, lyric-wise, and energy-wise, coming out of that turn, we want to pick up, but again, we want to leave room for the chorus to take off. So we keep the bass and the drums in, doing a simpler groove.
Wasn't even planning on coming here tonight, but here we are again, seeing if our stars align. And I can feel your heartbeat keeping up with mine. Hold me under the lights. Could this be more than a crush? I'm feeling when I
Right back into the chorus. It's about... Oh, it's actually the same length as verse 1, so not the longest verses. Doesn't need to be super long. We're not telling a ton of story here. The song's more about a feeling, so my job is to just make sure we're serving the feeling as the artist and top liner dish that out. Chorus 2 is basically the exact same thing as chorus 1. I don't even think we add any new elements. And as I look through my little tracks here, looks like the BGV package remains the same too. Oh, we didn't listen to that. Let's listen to those.
I'm feeling when I look in your eyes. With every touch, I'm more than alive, alive. Could this be where we say too much? Should we just...
Pedal tones, not a giant BGV package here. Doesn't need to be like a stacked barbershop thing. It just needs to be interesting. And the vocal melody also doesn't move a ton, so the BGVs don't have to move a ton. Then we do kind of the same thing. We come out, we do a turn, could this be more than a crush? And then we hit him with like a little bridge into a down. And the bridge is basically just the pre.
The kind of dangerous, and I should probably run. Could this be more than a crush? I'm feeling when I look in your eyes. With every touch, I'm more than alive, alive. Could this be where we say too much? Should we just kiss, shut up?
There's some vocal ad-libs that happen here just to kind of differentiate it. The fact that it, starts as a down also helps to differentiate it from the other choruses, but little vocal ad-libs happen, some more candy, stuff like that, and then we come out of it.
I wasn't looking for love. Could this be more than a crush?
Could this be more than a crush? A crush? Could this be more than a crush? A crush?
And that's how we end it. It doesn't really get like a final hit, so to speak, or like a final chord ring, because it's reflective, it's dreamy, we're questioning, and it ends in a way that kind of lets that feeling hang. At least that was the goal. Maybe I'm tooting my own horn a little bit too much, but constantly trying to serve the lyric as best we can. That's the goal. Other notable things to talk about here. The transition from the writing session to production to mixing was really quick, because this was another one. When you're working with great writers, when you're working with great artists as a producer, you have to be quick and you have to capture the magic. And then when you revisit it, you don't want to ruin the magic. So I think really the end of day that I ended up giving them was essentially this. I basically sent it to them a day or two after. I touched it up, added some candy, added some spice, but really the bones of this were all there that day. And then when it came to mixing, I hate when YouTubers do that. I got to stop doing that. What a bad habit. There's no team here. I'm the whole team. So, and that's not an ego thing. I'm not trying to say that I'm so goated or something like that, but it's just the reality. There's no production team. It's just your boy. For the mixing phase of things, I just have to lean on the decisions that get made in the room that day in writing and production, because one of the challenges of being a part of the song as the producer from every phase of it, its origin to its finish, is you lose objectivity quickly. So making intelligent decisions, roughly, as we go, sets me up for success later. I'm thinking about the arrangement in production, and I'm like, okay, I'm thinking about the mix in production, how do I make sure that as my ears fatigue and I grow used to what I'm hearing, that I can't really fuck it up? We do that by making sure we have intelligent tones, intelligent arrangement. We let the bass and the drums and the guitars and this one and those eighth note synths lay a nice warm bed. We have a few candy elements, which is going to allow things like vocals, the lead and the BGVs to just sit on top of everything already. And really all I have to do is just not bosh it, just not drop the ball. And that allows, the mix to kind of come together relatively quick. We focus on, at that point, top-down mixing is usually how I try to approach things. I let all of the little micro decisions be done in production and arranging, and then I go top down. I go, okay, let's glue this. Let's make the whole thing sound cohesive. Let's make sure it has the shine, and go from there. Then we send it to mastering, and my mastering engineer, Ray Lynn's a badass. She always makes me sound like I know what I'm doing, which I really appreciate, because, there's so many talented people in this town. In an ideal world, if we had a bunch of budget, we would have probably paid for paid for real drums, or maybe hired a couple players here or there. But when you're working with independent artists, there's often not a ton of budget. And then so you, as the writer producer, you're wearing a lot of hats. And, it's fun because you get to do a lot of stuff. But in an ideal world, you'd pay for the live drums. You'd do things that way. But that said, this song is out. It's been out for a minute. I don't remember how well it's streamed or not. I just love the song, and it was a really fun one to be a part of. Another one of those cases of we started a song at 11, and by 3 or 4, we had essentially this. So great stuff, great write. Faith's goated, Eric Paslay's goated, and yeah, if we have any questions about signal processing or sound design and want to do some deeper dives on that, happy to do it. Let me know in the comments. And I think we're going to sign off here. Yeah. Love yourself. Love your friends. Keep making good music, and we'll see you in the next one.